Welcome Year 10 to your first learning map, all to do with extended questions. Now, as you know, in your exam there are going to be several extended questions, so getting good at them is really important. Now, what I'd like you to do to start off with is, as you can see, it says start here, and you are going to read this particular question. Okay, now what I want you to do when you're reading it is, I just want you to read it once to start off with and not do anything. Then once you've read it, I want you to highlight the command word for this particular question. Now, the command word is what it is asking you to do. And this is typically one, maybe sometimes two words in a question. When you found the command word, I want you to highlight it, draw an arrow from that word into a space around the question, and write what that command word means. Press pause now and complete that step. Fantastic. Now you've done that, still looking at the question, I want you to highlight any topic words that you've seen. Topic words are things that you have been taught about. So out of that question, what things have you seen before? I just want you to pause the video and highlight those for me. Now I'm actually going to share some answers with you for that task, because words that we should have got should have been interval training. We've seen that before, and that's a topic that we've talked about and studied. And we've also seen weight training. Those are things that you should have been taught and learnt about. Okay, the next thing I want you to highlight in this question is the qualifier. Now the qualifier is what you are going to be linking your answer to. It often could be a type of performer, a named activity or sport, or it could even be some of the content terms or some of the topic words that you've already highlighted. It's really important though that you know what to link your answer to. So press pause on the video and highlight any qualifier words that you have found in this question. Press pause now and complete that task. Right, so the qualifier word that you found should have been the fact that you're going to be linking your answer to a swimmer. So we know any example that we write about should be linked to this performer. Now the final task that you should do before you answer any question is highlight the amount of marks available, because we need to know where we're going to pick up marks for. Now in a 9-mark question we need to be thinking, right, how many of those are going to be AO1 statements, how many are going to be AO2, and how many are going to be AO3. Okay, so that's all of our tasks done, and we haven't even answered the question yet. We're now going to look at what our learning mat has on it. So to start off with, it has Mr. Bradley's comments. It also has a student answer, and it has a mark scheme. Now, Mr. Bradley's comments are just a series of different statements about this student's answer for this particular question, and also almost what makes it a really good answer. And the way it says mark scheme in the bottom there, that's what you're going to be using in a second. Also, throughout using this resource, there are a number of questions that I want you to try and answer as you work through. So it might just be worth having a quick read of those now, just to familiarise yourself with them. Press pause whilst you read the questions. Okay, so your next task is now as follows. Where it says Mr. Bradley's comments, which I'm just highlighting for you there now, what I'd like you to look at is just paragraph 1. Now you're going to in particular be looking at that and the student answer. All I'd like you to do is I'd like you to read my comments and read the student answer. Using a highlighter pen, I want you to pick out any of the key points from my comments and highlight these in paragraph 1 only. For example, in my comments I've written how key terms are defined. So you would then use your highlighter pen and you would highlight some of the key terms that have been defined in paragraph 1 only. Press pause now and complete that step. Right, now I'm not going to highlight all of the answers that you should have got, but I'm going to note them just on the mark scheme here. So point 1 is made, point 3 and 4 are both made as well. Now if we notice, for you to get maximum A01 marks, we must make 3 A01 type statements. Any more will not get you any more marks. Any less will obviously mean that you're likely to pick up less than 3 out of 3 for AO1 type statements. Okay, your next task is now to look at paragraph 2, both from my commentary and the student answer. And again, I want you to read what I have written. Now, what I want you to do again is to use your highlighter and highlight any key piece of information that you think are useful for my commentary. So for example, I've written how linking words have been used, and I've mentioned that some of those linking words are so. So I'd use my highlighter pen, and every time I saw the word so, I would highlight it in paragraph 2 only. There could be other good things that are written in there, and I also would like you to highlight those as well. Press pause whilst you complete that step. Brilliant. Again, I'm not going to go through all the things that you could have highlighted, but I am just going to note on our mark scheme points that were made. Point 1 was made, as was 3, as was 4. Again, if we notice on our mark scheme, for AO2, maximum AO2 marks, we must make a maximum of 3 points, 3 AO2 type points, 3 application points to get maximum AO2 marks, and this student has made those 3. Okay, what I'd now like you to do is, again, we know how this is probably going to go now. I want you to look at both paragraph 3 and 4 from both my commentary and from the student answer. And again, I want you to highlight any key points that you note. For example, in paragraph 3, I've written about positive and the negative effects of using both types of training. If you find that in the student answer, it might be a good idea to note that. In paragraph 4, I've written about how there's been a nice summary, how suggesting an alternative method of training was also really good practice. So again, it might be worth using your highlighter pen and highlighting examples of that in this student answer. Press pause on your video and complete that step. Now this for me is a real fantastic end to the student answer. Again, I'm not going to go through the answers, but I'm just going to tick off the points that were made. Point 1 was made, as was 2, as was 3, as was 4. Now it doesn't matter the fact 4 statements were made, but the maximum amount of marks for AO3 is 3 as well. So the fact that I've written 4 will mean this student will only actually pick up a maximum of 3 marks. So, it's a really nice way of remembering it. It's 3 AO1, 3 AO2 and 3 AO3 type statements. So tally up how many things that you've ticked, and I now want you to look at this part. I'm just highlighting it for you now, just getting a different coloured pen, on this part of our learning map, because there are a series of questions I now would like you to answer. In particular, you should now have the answer for question 1. You should have the answer for question 2. It's going to be a bit of opinion for question 3, but hopefully you can use my comment to now almost say why this answer was so good. Is there anything you can think of to improve it? Now for this final question, I almost want you to think of what is almost a summary of good practice. So for paragraph 1, like I've highlighted, what could you summarise is really important to include in your paragraph 1? And the same with paragraph 2. What message was I trying to get across to you in paragraph 2? What message was I trying to get across in 3? And what message was I trying to get across in 4? And I just want you to summarise what you think each one of those paragraphs was actually about. Press pause whilst you complete that task. Right, now I want you to flip your sheet over, and you should be looking at something that looks like this. What I'd like you to do to start off with is I want you to have a little read of the question. Okay, that's obviously just this bit there. And the steps that we've just done for that other extended question, I would like you to do the exact same thing. So that's reading, command words, content words, amount of marks available, what the content word actually means. And I want you to highlight and note all of this on your sheet. Now once you've done that, I then want you to have a go at answering it in this space provided. Now, there are a number of things on this sheet that will be able to help you. If you still feel that you would not be confident writing a complete answer here, then you'll notice on the left hand side it says still not sure what to write, do you need help? If structure is something that you're still not clear on, then scan this QR code for a bit of extra help with structure. If actually you still don't quite understand some of the stuff, then you need to highlight and scan this content code, and that will redirect you to my PE exam where you can watch a video to hopefully increase your confidence with this particular topic. Now once you've actually written your answer, you'll notice there's a third QR code that says mark scheme, because you can then scan that mark scheme and mark your own answer. Now if you do not score full marks, so 9 out of 9, it's really important that you add any information to your answer to make sure that you score full marks next time. Have a go at answering it, see how you get on. If you need to use your notes, if you need to ask the person next to you for any help, then that is completely fine. This is not a test. Good luck.